Hey, friends, how are you? Super quick word of encouragement. I was sitting outside. It's a beautiful day in Florida. It's a little bit sunny, but I'm over here sitting in the shade. It's beautiful. Um, and I've been doing some writing, as you know, just really trying to get this book going for next year. Um, but sitting here thinking about the things that I have changed in my life that have really helped me with the anxiety and overwhelmed, other than just saying pray, trust, surrender. I really wanted to get into a little bit more of the practical of what that looks like for me in the journey. And this was brought on because we just took a trip this weekend and a beautiful trip to Virginia. The trees are changing colors just like they were up in Utah a couple of weeks ago when I was there, and it's just so beautiful. So anyway, I do travel and I do fly. I used to be super afraid of flying. Never really liked it because I had this one bad experience. I don't know if it was in middle school, high school, and the plane was literally the roller coaster you would buy a ticket for that you would choose to then never ever ever ride again. But then here I am riding airplanes again. But it's amazing how one really bad experience can affect you like forever if you allow it. And so we had an experience on a flight to Virginia on this last week. And if that would have been my first time to be on a flight in the airplane, I probably would never have flown again. And it was such a great lesson, a reminder of what trust, emotional intelligence, resilience, and being the blessed assurance of knowing that you're where you're supposed to be, that you are being held no matter what, and that God is in control and you are absolutely not. So, an element of surrender there. But the main thing that I want to bring up as a practicalness is Google resilience. Look up the definition for resilience, look up the definition for trust, and look up emotional intelligence, because this is where these are the practical things other than, in God's world, of course, we're praying, we are saying, Lord, I'm in your hands. I know you've got this. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I trust you. I surrender. And we're doing the things, right? With peace that surpasses all understanding, joy, no matter what, in the trials and in the valleys and the storms. But also, in a very practical sense, it looks like emotional intelligence. It's also looking at our trust issues, and it's looking at our resilience in these moments when things do not go according to plan. So, whether you've had a bad airplane experience, you've had a bad relationship, you've had a bad recipe go bad, you've been church hurt, you have been person hurt, you have failed at something, you've made a mistake, any anything that has not gone the way that you thought it would, we can not have emotional intelligence and just throw in the towel and just have a tantrum. We can pout, we can say we failed, we can believe that it wasn't meant to be, it was our fault, or that this must just be the way it's always going to be. So for me with the airplane, if that would have been my first one, I probably would never get on a plane ever again. But because I have flown so many times, I know that a flight like that with such big turbulence like that, that it's one in 100. I mean, it's like super, super, super scary, but it's super, super rare that that kind of thing happens. Same with getting a bad, you get the bad apple in the bag. You buy something at the store and it ends up being a lemon and you have to return it. You get hurt by somebody, and does that mean that all people are bad? No. But when we have emotional intelligence, it's this rational reasoning that what we know to be true is truth. Then we stand in that trusting of knowing what we know to be true is true. And the resilience comes in is that when things don't go the way that we expect or hope or think that they would go, Do we have the resilience to bounce back out, of that? Do I have the resilience, trust, and emotional intelligence to know that after a flight like that, that I'm still going to have to get on another flight, and that I still choose, because of freedom, to ever fly again? I have to believe and trust and know what I know, and have the emotional fortitude and intelligence to know that not all planes are like that, not all flights are like that, and that's going to be super rare. Could it happen again? Sure. Does it mean that it's going to keep me from ever being on another another plane again? Let me tell you, we had some church on that plane. I put on my worship music and I worship, which is a whole other emotional intelligence. When you know what you know, and the resilience and emotional intelligence, trusting what I know that even when things do not go the way that they should, even if I end up in a valley season, even if I'm in hurt, I'm in pain, I'm in a season of darkness, I still know what I know. And I can lean into the fact that the Lord will never leave me or forsake me, that He has not brought me here unequipped. He has not left me here and abandoned me, because He says He's not. So do you believe and trust that He is who He says He is, and He's going to do what He says He's going to do, and that He will never leave you or forsake you? Also, is there any burdens that He cannot carry? No. So it was a great reminder, and I remind this for you today. If you're somebody who's trying something perhaps for the first time, or maybe you're new at something, maybe you're new at trying church, maybe you're new at praying, maybe you're trying a new business, maybe a new recipe, new lifestyle, new friendship, whatever it is, if it doesn't feel good, or something happens that's a little bit awkward or weird, do we have the faith, which in that faith is the emotional intelligence, the trust, and the resilience that says, you know what? I'm not quitting. I'm not giving up. I'm going to be fair and mature and reasonable in the way that I'm processing this. I'm going to hand this to the Lord. And if He says, keep walking, I'm going to keep walking. These things are things that build our faith, and it builds our endurance. So, in the word, it's talking about perseverance and endurance, that we're going to run the race and never quit and never give up, and to be faithful. And this is building our character. So these are character building moments, but also building our mindset that we're renewing every single day, remembering His mercies are new every single day. And in us, He's able to do exceedingly abundantly more, because He is. And His grace is sufficient in all of these things. So even when things don't go the way that you think they should, or there's a mistake or a bad apple, this does not therefore label every other experience or opportunity that you have. So, as a believer, we cast those things back to the Lord and say, okay, show me your hand in this. Lead me on the path of righteousness, of showing me where are we going from here. Show me the lessons that I need to learn in here. Redirect my path, if that's what this is, a redirection. But it most certainly is not something that should define the element of everything else. And I think for those of us who get overwhelmed or anxious, this is one of our shutdown points. If we don't have emotional intelligence, we don't have trust, and we don't have resilience. Because when you start feeling anxious and you get into those overwhelmed, stressy seasons, everything tends to be a shutdown, closed down, wall up, and we run, we avoid, we disassociate, whatever all the big words you want to say. Basically, we're going to shut down and we're going to call it quits, because it's too hard, or we don't understand, or we are not strong enough on our own firm foundation that this is not what is normal, that this was a learning first step, that this was just a lesson in this, what we needed to do. Maybe there's a pivot we need to make, or an adjustment, or a lesson. There's so many things that can be, whether it's a trial, whether it's a mistake, it can be so many different things. It can just be life. Like the plane. There was no reason for the plane to have turbulence except for the fact that there were storms. There were storms. We went through storms, and the plane was all very bendy and slinky like. That's not what the plane was built for. That's not what I was there for. That's not what I bought a ticket for. But that doesn't mean that that's always That's not mean what it actually is for. That does not mean that's what it'll actually always be. So, emotional intelligence, trust, and resilience. If you're feeling anxious and you're feeling overwhelmed, look at those three things and see how you can make those stronger in Jesus' name. Because for us as believers, it is going to look different for us because this is more wrapped up in our faith and our surrender and our trust. Is God who he says he is? Is he going to do what he says he's going to do? And does he have us? Is he ever going to leave you or forsake you? These are faith building moments, faith building conversations. So I don't know who else may need that reminder or example or practical conversation, chit chat, but it was good to talk it out and to go back and consider the fact of how many times we throw in the towel too soon, too early, and judge something too quickly and being irrational. So that's a word of encouragement. I hope you have the most awesome rest of your week and look forward to hearing from you if you face this, because no doubt not everything is going to go our way or as planned. So the next time this happens in your day, remember these things. How can I know what I know? How can I bounce back? What can I take and learn from this? How can I make it different? Where do I need to change direction? Should I change direction? Those are all the questions that you're just going to bring to the Lord. Seek him first in all the things, in all the ways. All right. Have a blessed day. Bye.